Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new locals feature match. Yeah, I know these videos typically go up a lot earlier in the week, and here it is Friday. Yeah, the scheduling this week has been really weird. I had a bunch of feature matches recorded for my last Saturday's locals, but obviously we had a ban list drop on Tuesday, and I had locals Tuesday, so and the list went into effect immediately, so I just decided to record there. Had to scrap all the other matches. Because, no reason posting old ban list, right? So here we are. We have Swordsoul by yours truly on the left versus my friend Dalen on the right versus, playing the Tri-Brigade branded deck. So post ban list, new format, Swordsoul versus branded Tri. And you're going to see me win the die roll here. Starting with Moyi, reveal, get token, Longyun, discard, Ashna, get token. I could have activated the Ashna there. I probably should have. I think that was a misplay. But also holding it for follow-up, I guess, is kind of okay too. And then we go for the draw 2 combo here to search Blackout. Moyi draw, Qixing triggers to draw since we synchro summoned another worm. Yes, this combo is very, very susceptible to Nibiru, but Nibiru isn't really too heavily played right now, and we just don't respect that card going first, especially game 1. Game 2 is probably a different story. It also depends on what I'm playing against. If it's the branded deck, the deck typically doesn't play hand traps, but, it is what it is. So that's just kind of the philosophy right now of playing Swordsoul. And you're going to see my opponent pass here. Well, I pass here. My opponent's going to start with Tenyi, which is, again, newly semi-limited. Both decks here kind of receiving a buff. Him getting Tenyi to 2 and my deck getting Desires to 2. Which is a little annoying that I had to change my deck before the YCS, just because, I really liked the deck list quite a bit, but adding the second Desires in, as easy as it sounds, trying to keep it at 40, right, it just kind of makes things a little more difficult. So yeah, Tenyi gets banished by Qixing. He'll take 12, basically negates it. He's going to normal summon Fallen of Albaz. That is going to get hit by Imperm. Can't let that go through, or else he's just going to super poly something off of my board. And then he has Fractal. Fractal's going to go dump the kit. That'll dump Nerval. And Nerval's going to go search the copy of Mercurier, whatever you want to call it. So that is in hand as a potential negate if he does get Fusion, branded Fusion, going. Then we see him summon Karass. Karass is going to pitch the Mercurier. And on summon of the Karass, we're just going to go ahead and banish because, Qixing Longyun is kind of nice. Against a wide range of decks, not only good against Adventurer decks, but against, Tri-Brigade decks as well, too, I guess. I typically make Qixing going first just because, Brave, I feel like is going to be a lot more popular. It's just popular to begin with, and I just like making that card over Chenying most of the times because it's it's one body that's 2 interruptions that also nets you a draw, so why not go for it? And yeah, as expected, my opponent is going to concede there. Not much else he can do past that board. Especially not having exhausted the Chi-Shao negate there. So we're just into a game 2 situation. He's going to go ahead and lead with Tenyi. Tenyi for Fractal here. And Fractal's going to go ahead and dump the Kit. Kit's going to dump Nerval. And Nerval's going to go search, standard. Actually, he's going to dump the Mercurier here. The Mercurier. I don't know why I keep saying it Mercurier. It's Mercurier. But yeah. He's going to normal summon Nerval. And he's going to go ahead and banish the Mercurier and the Kit. And this is going to get Axum to Farragut. He'll also get the effect of the Mercurier to go search. So he can go ahead and grab Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. And then you can use Shrouded Dragon to dump Sword. Put it at the bottom of the deck, draw, and then Sword to add back the Mercurier. I'm really a big fan of this engine in a lot of these Despia decks and other, Despia variants. Just because it's, an Upstart Goblin that is, searchable. So it's kind of cool. Definitely a big fan of it. It adds nice consistency, and the Mercurier loop, just it kind of makes it possible to do over and over again. Obviously, it works a lot more in the pure branded Despia deck because you have other targets to send outside of Fusion and Sword. You can send Opening and other things as well. So really a big fan of that consistency engine. And we're gonna go ahead and see him activate Farragut here to go ahead and special summon back the Kit. And then we're going to see him go for a Link 2 here. Obviously, this deck lost the Verite Anaconda, but it's not really a huge issue, strictly because you know, you have Branded Fusion at 3, so you can just play 3 Branded Fusion. And it's kind of like Anaconda, right? You do your whole combo, and if you have Fusion, you just play Fusion. You know, more fair and balanced as opposed to just being able to make it with your end board and not having to worry about drawing Branded Fusion. Yeah, I think it makes things a little bit more manageable. We'll see him activate the sword and add back the Mercurier. I keep messing it up, I know. I'm a mess. It's been a couple days since I've done a commentary, so I apologize if I'm not as sharp as I typically am. One thing too I want to mention, my hand, I have DD Crow in hand, and I absolutely could not regret it more. Like, DD Crow is okay against this deck, and I think the only good hits are literally Albion End Phase effect to go set. But like, it's just it's such a terrible miss side on my behalf. Should have been something else to be an out to Collector or an out to Appaloosa, which obviously this deck makes, like There's No Tomorrow. Or a possible another out for Revolt, like Night Beam or Twin Twister. That's just a miss side on my behalf. Because, like, again, what does DD Crow really do against this deck? Other than if he opens up, like, poorly, and he doesn't have that many names engraved, and I can DD Crow one of them, right? It makes things awkward, right? But it definitely should have been sided out. Let me know what you guys think. Do you side DD Crow out against this matchup? I feel like you definitely do. And that one DD Crow could have just literally been anything else in my side deck. And probably would have had much more value. Like, imagine if it was Twin Twister right now. Like, it just kind of goes in to clear both the back row. And have better chance of breaking the board. But there is that Desires at 2, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and banish 10, draw 2. Taking a look at the damage there. I think I might have banished. I can't remember if this was the game, but I know one game recently I banished all my Moyis. But I don't think that was this game because Moyi is in my hand. But either way, Imperm's going to come down. We do draw that off the Desires. Comes in clutch here. We're going to negate the Appaloosa and accidentally discard my Ecclesia here off of the long end, which was like a IRL misclick, if you will. And then we're going to discard the Adara, summon out token here. And we do have to play through a known Dragon Lords and a Revolt. So that's 2 like forms of spot removal, which is pretty good against Swordsoul. Definitely helps me, or well, keeps me from trying to establish any sort of board. So he's going to clear token here, which is really strong because that prevents normal summon a Moe into Synchro, plus draw plus search. And I go ahead and special summon out the Ecclesia here. And my hand is like a little awkward. I don't know if I really could have played this out any differently with the cards I had available. Like, playing through Dragon Lords plus Revolt is just hard enough to like deal with, like, in general. And if my only line is like, you know, Long Yun Ecclesia, like, I feel like I kind of have to start Long Yun because that demands like an interruption to get forced, but otherwise I'm just going to make Baron, and that's like a potential removal plus, you know, it's going to trade with something else. So I feel like starting with Long Yun was somewhat correct. And then once the Ecclesia hits the field, he's going to go ahead and activate Revolt. You know, I could of course chain the Ecclesia here, but I really don't think there's a reason to do that because he can just end up banishing whatever I summon off the Ecclesia, and whatever I summon off the Ecclesia isn't really getting me anywhere either way. Like, maybe it could have. Maybe if I do tag out for Taya there, if he banishes either, right, it's a banished Swordsoul to add back. So, I mean, let's say he did banish a Taya that I summoned, and he leaves the Long Yun there. Like, the only way this play gets punished if I normal summon an Ecclesia and then sink 10. Like, that's the only way I think this Revolt gets punished necessarily. I have Call by the Grave too, which is also really not doing anything either. That should have been sided out too, going second 100%, another miss side. So, now we make Shaman here. Shaman revives the, well, tries to revive the Otter, and he has Call by anyways. It doesn't really matter. Because, like, had he not had the Call by, I could have summoned back the Otter, made Monk, and then Otter adds back the banished Taya. Normal summon Taya, make a play. So I definitely misplayed there 100%. Should have tagged out the Ecclesia, because that way he has to banish a Swordsoul / Worm card regardless, right? And that would have helped me out in the end there. He has the one of Call by. Not really much you can do to play around that. It is what it is, but that would have been the more optimal play. So here we are into Game 3. Quick reminder, guys, check out Imperium Duelist at the link below. They just came out with a brand new Wind-themed attribute deck box, which is way cooler than Token Collector is. And I believe they have a new wave of Fortress binders coming out. They just sent me one, and it's a brand new design. Looks incredible. And they think their Pegasus sleeves are getting revamped as well, and I've had a chance to use them lately, and I really do like them. They kind of remind me of Player's Choice sleeves, the smooth silky backs, and obviously the clear glossy fronts. I'm a big fan of them. Maybe some people aren't, but I really do like them. I think it's kind of an improvement over the other variant. They shuffle a little bit smoother, in my opinion. I feel like they don't catch as much. Not to say that the ones in the past have really caught as much as all while you're shuffling. But I really like them. And if you want to buy anything off their website, check them out at the link below. And don't forget to use my discount code WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel in the process. And don't forget to use my TCG Player affiliate link so you can buy your Change of Heart and support the channel in the process as well. Links below. So yeah. My first turn play gets unfortunately ended by a token collector, and this, in my opinion, is Swordsoul's biggest, plight right now is token collector. Like D barrier, sure. D barrier is a one-turn thing, and you also have the Tenyi line to like kind of back up your deck and keep playing. You can also do Hulk stuff and like punk things too. Synchro on the opponent's turn. I've been working a lot on punk Swordsoul lately, and I honestly think it's a little better than regular Swordsoul Tenyi right now. You can still take advantage of Halka Fibrax, which in some cases gets you Otter out of the deck on the field, gets you Monk access, which makes a Vessel live, gets you a Vishuda on board, and then you can like quick synchro on the opponent's turn with either Shooting Rise or Formula. So a lot of cool things that can be done, and you also get to play E-Telly too, which you go for Yazi, and like outside of that, like Yazi just beats Collector. It's just unfortunate I didn't draw into any of my sided outs to Collector. I guess DD Crow is technically an out, so leaving it in also. I think at this point in the game I sided out all 3 Crows just because like I was not having how bad it was last game. I didn't want that to happen again. Also, another thing that happened here, my opponent activated Branded Fusion in the Imperm column. I have no idea how I didn't catch that. Neither of us caught it. It is what it is. My opponent, though, it kind of balances itself out, though, because he ended up playing the wrong Branded Fusion because he had just put this deck together before he came to Locals. And he ends up making Brigand the Glory Dragon and not, like, Albion or Lubellion for Mirror Jade. So he messed up. I messed up. It kind of balances out. But the thing is, Brigand actually is really good for his deck, and it's really good for protecting his board right now because I can't Vishuda bounce the Collector. I can't target it with anything right now because of Brigand. Brigand says your opponent cannot target other monsters you control with monster effects. That's kind of huge. So, like, Vishuda is not as easy as an out as you normally would think here. Desires does not draw me into a Chalice, does not draw me into an Imperm, does not draw me into a Heavenly Dragon Circle. Doesn't draw me into any outs here. So I have Longyun, Moyi, and Taya in hand right now. I think that's in hand. And I think I also have Adara and Shathana. The Shathana is going to actually be kind of clutch here. The other thing that kind of sucks about the Shathana, though, and like, well, not sucks about it, but like the Tenyi line, which I'm going for right now, is Shaman target. So I can't just Shaman effect pop the token collector, right? I have to go through Brigand first, which is going to trigger its graveyard effect, which lets him special summon or add a Tri-Brigade in the end phase. Like, it's just like his misplay, and I guess incorrect deck building on accident, right, is actually just hard, like, carrying right here because it's just making the board a lot more difficult to deal with than it really should be. I guess Mirror Jade, on the other hand, would also, like, be problematic, but like this also isn't making things any easier because he has the wrong fusion target. So I have to go Shaman, discard Taya, revive the Monk, and then here I have to sequence things a little weirdly. I have to actually crash my Monk into the Brigand. That's going to trigger Shathana to banish and summon back the Monk and then pop Brigand. I can target it with a monster effect. I just can't target other monsters my opponent has. So battle phase, Shaman is going to Monk's going to crash, no Shaman effect here, and then we're going to activate Shathana, banish itself, bring back Monk, and pop the Brigand. My opponent want to go ahead and take a read there, because like Shathana is kind of like that weird off Tenyi card that a lot of people don't really probably remember offhand. Might remember the other big three, but really maybe not Shathana, so understandable. And then we're going to go battle phase, continuing the battle phase. This is a new monk, basically, so it can attack. We're going to attack the kit. That's going to trigger Shaman, pop Collector, and then monk will go over the kit, and then Shaman attacks directly for 16. So we did like 1900 damage there. But the problem is, I still have not really successfully outed Token Collector because it's just going to come back in the grave. That's why I hate this card, because it's like, sometimes you have to out it twice. And that's just annoying. Like, it's just outright annoying. That's where, like, other supporting engines, like the Punk cards and the Tenyi stuff mainly, come in handy to get you access to your synchro plays without the need of tokens. But I just got super unfortunate here that I just happened to see none of those cards, none of the main decked outs. Like an Imperm or a Chalice would have been incredible, because I can just negate it on field and make my plays as normal and probably win the game. Yeah, also, had I caught the Imperm column thing, I probably would have just reminded him, like, you know, don't play that there, play in a different column, because it's locals, right? If it were like a YCS, like upcoming, I would say, no, that's negated, you know, that's not Indigo Eclipse, but I'm playing against one of my friends at a locals, right? It is what it is. Honestly, it's on me. I should have caught that, and he should have not have fusioned. Or I should just, hey, don't play that in that column, play it somewhere else. But end phase, Brigand effect is going to resolve here. Summon out a Tri-Brigade from the deck. He's going to summon Nerval, and at this point, I'm like, I don't have any hand traps. He's not going to play into Shaman. He's not going to play into Shathana. Like, all these interruptions are known at this point, and I'm just kind of like, you know, put him on kill me, and there's a second tanky, which is huge at this point. Like, I mean, granted, he probably doesn't need it. Just kind of overkill at this point, but yeah, this is really just going to be him assembling the board to OTK, so yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like I just got super unlucky here in game 3. Like, I had the outsided for Collector. You know, we had Chalice, we had Imperm, we had Heavenly Dragon Circle, we even resolved the Desires. We just didn't. I think I banished a Chalice off this Desires too, and it's just unlucky, right? But that's why I really liked E-Telly and Swordsoul prior to Auroradon's banning, because like E-Telly not only could get you to the Hulk line, but it could also get you to Yazi to be an answer to Collector turn 1, and it lets you extend without even needing the Auroradon package. And in theory, that play is still there. It's just like, what other value do you get out of the E-Tellys other than just summoning Ogre? And then you look to the Punk engine, especially with the new card Deer Note that just came out of Dimension Force. I feel like there's a lot more potential there. I've been doing a lot of testing with that, and I really think it's a really strong contender, because there's a lot of cool things that that deck can do through Interruption, and it like fixes a lot of like really awkward hands, or hands that just die to one Imperm. Like, it just really lets the deck excel and do a lot of crazy things. And it also, like, E-Telly into like any other board, like E-Telly plus normal Swordsoul combo, it just lets you end on an extra interruption. Like, lets you end on like Dragite, can let you end on like Berserker, or can let you end on Savage Dragon in some hands too, which is like really, really cool things. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more testing with it up until the YCS, because right now I'm not decided, you know, whether or not I want to actually play Punk Swordsoul or just pure Tenyi Swordsoul. I won't get into the specifics, but, you know, yeah, I just wanted to also just get that out. But either way, we're going to see him go into the Hraesvelgr, the Desperate Doom Eagle. That's going to put back Taya. He's going to go into the Shuraig. Shuraig's going to banish Shaman. And at this point, yeah, he's actually not going to banish Shaman. He's going to banish the Monk. And then, yeah, at this point, it's just pretty easy play around. Because, you know, if he had not have gotten rid of the Monk, then when Access Code Talker pops it, that triggers Shathana to pop the access code, spoiling his OTK, so making sure you made the right play there. And yeah, unfortunately, we do lose there 2-1. But if you guys want to see more of my content, check out one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members who are Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Keith Sidgers, Justin Lamb, Master of Isa, and HDH Cyber. Thank you guys so much as always for your extremely kind and generous support of the channel.